Hey everybody, and welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily. For Thursday, let's talk about GameStop. Remember GameStop? Only 90s kids. The newspaper industry of video games. Doesn't make sense. Really wish we had Brian on right now to explain the joke he wrote.
Just in that they are both not doing hot.
They're dying.
So today's episode will be drawing parallels between William Randolph Hearst and Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Regardless, you probably know that GameStop as a company is not doing great these days. Competition from digital sales has been hurting the old school physical retailer for years now. And then COVID-19 came along.
Yeah, the coronavirus has obviously been a worldwide disruption, but it has hit GameStop particularly hard. Sales tanked despite their best efforts to keep stores open. Safety be damned!
How one virus disrupted an entire video games industry.
And the one chain that fought back.
Open the door a little bit more. It's not open enough for me to get the game case out.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more. Now, company officials say that they're going to close 400 to 450 GameStops worldwide this year, which is a lot more than they'd originally planned.
That's a lot of games.
I'm actually going.
Stopping,
I bought something this week from a GameStop for the first time in like 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, it's a controller dongle for my PC. Yeah, and I'm also gonna get 6 Funko Pops. But now that I saw the script, I'm hoping that it's one of the GameStops that's closing, and maybe I could get like Saints Row 2 for like maybe $15.
A steal.
Or you could sell a copy of Saints Row 2 for $2 maybe. Yeah, 3 cents. Trade-in. Yeah, back in March, GameStop officials said they were going to close 320 stores in 2020, but things are obviously so much worse than expected, and they are already hard at work shutting stores down.
In an earnings call with investors yesterday, GameStop Chief Financial Officer Jim Bell said that they'd already closed 388 stores this year. We didn't get a breakdown of how many of those closures are in the US, but since most GameStops are here, you'd assume a lot of the closures would be here too.
They were actually in the Arctic Circle. That's why we didn't notice.
Yeah, in a historic move, 2020 also took GameStop Damascus from us. Tragedy for those in the Holy Land.
The Nazareth branch also shut down shortly after.
And the GameStop aboard every celebrity cruise line. Bell said that the closures will allow us to more efficiently and profitably service our customers. Gotta love that bloodless corporate speak.
I love how it's always that they're laying off thousands of people and closing all their stores, but it's actually a good thing. Pretty cool, actually. There will definitely be more to come. Speaking of closing stores, Bell said there are more to do in 2021 as well, so I guess get excited about that, everybody, right?
Watch this space.
There are more to do.
Hyping us up for 2021.
Come on, there's stores to close.
Yeah, so again, none of this is necessarily surprising given how bad GameStop's business has been doing over the last few years, but they're clearly taking very aggressive steps right now to shrink their total number of stores. It's part of a plan that they call de-densification, which basically means cutting costs and closing stores that aren't making enough money. They started that plan in the second half of 2019, and it's included shutting down operations completely in Denmark, in Finland, in Norway, and in Sweden.
Connor, you were actually dead on when you said the Arctic Circle.
I've done it
nailed
again. De-densification sounds nefarious.
They're the one.
De-densification of Prague.
Yeah, it sounds like a population control thing. Just to give you an idea of how much GameStop has shrunk over the last year, they currently have a worldwide total of 5,122 stores. That's over 600 fewer than they had last year.
Whoa. God damn. So, they've already closed more than 10% of their total number of stores. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Of course, what executives like Bell don't talk about are all the people losing their jobs in these closures, which is the worst part, especially right now, in the middle of all this bullshit.
Yeah, we talk about GameStop a lot, and we've made various criticisms, but we should note that none of this is the fault of the people actually working in the stores. It's the big bad corporation's fault, you know? But we'll talk more about GameStop's lousy 2020, but first, let's talk about something much better. RTX at home. This episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by the Rooster Teeth Store. Shop an insane amount of exclusive merch from Achievement Hunter, Ruby, Funhouse, Rooster Teeth, and even us. Yeah, and plenty more. So RTX at Home is presented by AT&T, and it's just around the corner, September 15th through the 25th, and we're excited to show off tons of debut merch that we'll be launching during the event. So join us on first night on September 15th when we kick off all the big reveals, then enjoy panels throughout RTX at Home to get a first look at nearly 100 new products launching over the 2-week event, of course. So here's a sampling of what to expect. There's going to be new fall collections, there's going to be cosplay items, exclusive teas for your favorite new shows like Recorded by Aerosol and RVB0. 0. First member discounts and special sales all throughout the event. Plus, the Coop is back this year with all new capsule collections as Coop Comics. The Rooster Teeth store collaborated with hugely popular artists from skate, music, and pop culture to curate exclusive limited edition designs available on our new Coop website. And all purchases from the Coop come in commemorative comic book shop packaging. Follow the Rooster Teeth store on Instagram and Twitter for more details, including Coop Comics artist collaboration announcements. Shop RTX at home exclusively at store.roosterteeth.com from September 15th to the 25th. Back to the daily.
Okay, back to GameStop. It's no secret that the company has had a particularly bad year, not just due to the coronavirus, and not just in terms of revenue, but also in how it responded to the pandemic.
Very responsibly and humanely.
They handled it
right?
like model citizens, right?
I would say
Yes, they
with
did.
grace.
Yeah.
I think it'll be studied for years to come in ethics councils. I don't know who talks about ethics.
Ethics councils, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, they gathered at The Hague to decide if GameStop was acting appropriately.
So, during the early days of the pandemic, the retailer infamously refused to close its stores to customers for as long as possible. We had to do probably 40 dailies on it, just re-downloading all those
many.
fucking commercials
So many.
for today's daily was a
I
flashback.
ain't no rat. I'm a mouse.
Yeah.
I get it.
They were finally shamed into it, and when we say shamed, we mean forced by the authorities.
And then in a lot of places, they continued operating with smaller groups of staff to give customers internet orders, instructing them to just wrap their hands in plastic bags and crack the door. What could go wrong?
Worth mentioning, 2,000 years ago in March, everything was closed, remember? I'm sure you do. But this is not like today where we have, in-store shopping again. This was like the world was shut down except for grocery stores.
I thought you were getting at for a second. 2,000 years ago, everything was closed except for one little manger.
I was waiting for that shoe to drop too. I was like,
I
of
was like,
course,
it's
true.
March. What the?
I wasn't kidding about GameStop Damascus. It was the
I mean,
flagship.
you have to assume a woman's given birth in a GameStop, right?
I have seen a woman go into labor in an Olive Garden, so like anything's possible.
And by April, GameStop executives were already rolling out plans to fully reopen stores in some areas because we definitely had the virus under control in April. I wonder if those areas were in Georgia and Tennessee and Kentucky.
So despite their best efforts, some of which were literally illegal, financial news continues to be bad for GameStop too. They reported yesterday that sales had dropped 27% during the second quarter, due in large part to the ongoing pandemic, which, reminder, never went away. We just stopped caring about it.
So GameStop's online sales for the quarter were up big time, 800% to be exact, and accounted for around 20% of all sales, but its overall net sales were $942 million, which was down a whopping 27% compared to 2019, even though some companies in the games industry, like Nintendo, were reporting massive increases in sales. And $942 million, well, that sounds like a big number. And you're spread out all across the corners of the globe, from oil rigs to the birthplace of Christ. It's really, that dollar does not go very far.
Basically, people are buying a lot of games right now, just absolutely not from GameStop. And the company's sales were expected to be bad, but this is worse than analysts expected. GameStop's stock dropped substantially after those losses were reported. Kind of like, I don't want to check my bank account, but it can't be that bad. It's that bad. In a statement, CEO George Sherman, enemy of the show, said the ongoing pandemic continues to create a somewhat uncertain environment in the short term.
Yeah, but he added that we are very pleased by the consumer response at GameStop to the few recent video game product introductions, and we believe we are ready with expanded service and payment options to handle the expected surge in demand and participate in a very significant way in the console launches later this year. Are they accepting Dogecoin now? What?
Hey, give
what new
George
payment?
Sherman some credit. George
They're taking
Sherman, that was
IOUs.
very articulate. He announced for 2021 Sherman's March to the Sea 2.0, where they will be burning every GameStop from here to the Georgia coast to save a little bit of cash.
Good. I was just gonna say they're just limping to get to the finish line to sell consoles.
Their intestines are hanging out and they are crawling across the battlefield, which is like...
They're Giovanni Ribisi, just like, Mom, and they're like, hold on for like 2 more months. So if there's a silver lining for GameStop in all of this, it's that Microsoft and Sony are releasing their next-gen consoles this holiday season. And that's great news for GameStop, because lots of people still buy consoles the old-fashioned way, in person, which means
Mano a mano.
Yeah, which means they have to actually come into an actual store and then, possibly buy even more stuff when they're inside. I do the same thing if I'm about to drop $600 on a new box. You're damn right I'm gonna walk out with some Funko Pops. Pops. So maybe even a
Of
lanyard.
course. I'm leaving with an entire new wardrobe of Iron Man clothing.
Oh yeah, damn right.
Would you like to pre-order any games while you're at it? Got anything you can trade in? How about a Game Informer subscription? Would you like a guarantee on your disc? What if you bought it pre-owned? It might be sticky from the kid who traded it in covered in ice cream, but our profits are higher, damn it!
How much will you give me for my good kidney?
So yeah, GameStop doesn't make a lot of money on the consoles themselves, but if you go in to buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, you might buy other things too. You'll probably at least buy a game, right? I mean, or an extra controller, Funko Pop, lanyard.
New Super Mario Bros.
3DS
Wii
games.
action figure.
You can buy a parachute for a Fortnite character, but you have to buy the Fortnite character separately.
You could get a skin for your Xbox controller.
Gears of War 2 skin.
Joker
around long
maybe.
enough,
Joker
you
would
can-
be pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Joker would actually be pretty. That's a little twisted.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
That's
a little scary,
deranged.
yeah.
So anyways, along those lines, VentureBeat reports that GameStop is considering providing installment plans for people who want to get their hands on a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. Those would include layaway, installment plans, and rent to own, which Microsoft is kind of already doing. But basically, they just want to make it as easy as possible for you to get one from them specifically, at least in the short term.
Yeah, Microsoft is doing a similar thing with the Xbox Series X and S consoles, allowing consumers to pay them off in monthly payments through its Xbox All Access program, but the GameStop plans would be separate from that, and also not come with Game Pass, which I'm pretty sure All Access does, right? And Gold. Like, that's the idea.
And we've seen retailers do moves like this before. If you put something on layaway, that means the store keeps it until you pay for it fully, meaning you can pay for it in smaller quantities.
Yeah, so in an installment plan, GameStop is partnering with third-party payment services, which let you divide up a purchase into 4 easy payments. And again, the whole idea is to get you to buy a console even if you don't have $500 right now, specifically to get you to buy it from them.
VentureBeat reports that GameStop played a significant role in hardware sales during the rollout of the PS4 and the Xbox One 7 years ago, and obviously they want to do so again. So we'll see if the next generation can save GameStop. It won't.
No.
Or maybe it'll make this year less bad for them. Either way,
I mean,
probably not going to make it less bad for their employees.
Would you like us to put your dog down now with dignity, or would you like us to do an incantation that'll make him the Walking Dead for another 6 months where he's
Just unmoving, standing up and on the kitchen floor.
It's got no eyes.
Whenever it opens its mouth, bees come out.
It just sits in the corner and stares at you all day. Just looks in your direction.
Have a good day, everybody. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Friday. Whoever wants to take that, Patrick, maybe?
Brian, maybe?
Holy hell, another week has gone by that feels like a whole ass year, and I'm more tired than I've ever been, even though I haven't seen the sun in 4